Hi guys, my name is Lizelle and welcome to another recommendations video. I have cerebral palsy and I love reading books. I love reading all types of romances. But the book series I'm going to talk about today is called Queens and Monsters by JT Geisinger. It's a mafia romance. There is 3 books in the series so far, and I want to talk about it because the 4th book, which I'm really excited about, is coming out, I believe, on the 28th of April. So the first book is called Ruthless Creatures, and it's about Natalie, who's a teacher, whose an art teacher, whose fiance disappeared 10 years ago, and she did not know what happened. Like, he dropped off at the face of the earth, basically. And she thinks he's dead. And then we have our main male character, love interest. His name is Cage. He is part of the mafia. He was sent to kill Natalie or get rid of her. So he moved in next door to her, so they're neighbors. But instead of killing her like he's supposed to, he saves her from getting killed by another hitman. So instead of killing her, he falls in love with her and he decides to make her his woman type thing. Like, he's very possessive and it's their romance. It's very touch her and you die alpha male type romance. But yeah, he falls in love with her instead of killing her. So he decides to save her. The next book is called Ruthless Creatures. And the main characters for this one is Sloane and Declan. Sloane is Natalie's best friend from book 1. And Declan is part of the Irish Mafia. And it's their story. Nat invites Sloane to New York to meet her new fiance, Cage. But as she was going there, she gets kidnapped by Declan because Sloane starts a war between the Irish Mafia, and I always forget and the Russian Mafia, because Cage is part of the Russian Mafia. Sloane now Declan is expecting Sloane to like cower in her boots, but she doesn't do that. She's not even frazzled that she is kidnapped. In fact, she turns the tables on Declan because she gets all his men to like her and open up to her, and as they spend time together, he realizes he's in love with her too. So that's their romance. I love their romance. Sloane is a very strong character. Take no prisoners, never frazzled, and she's only submissive toward Declan. Because every relationship she's been in, she's the more dominant one. But then when she's with Declan, she becomes the more submissive one. I love their romance. I love their banter. You should really read that. Book 2 was my favorite. I love book 1 too, but it was just, I found book 2 to be way more funnier than book 1. And book 3 is about Riley, who's Sloane's sister, and Mal, who's a trained assassin, and he was hired to kill Declan. But when he observes Declan, he sees Riley, and he's kind of taken with her. So he decides to kidnap her. So like in book 1, it's the captive situation, and they fall for each other like book 1. But it's funny because Riley doesn't think her and Sloane are similar, but when people around them can see they're very similar, so it was a hoot to read about that. So yeah, book 3 was also good, but I still love book 2. It's my favorite so far in the series. It's so funny, but all 3 books so far are my all 3 books are good, but book 2, Carnal, are just my favorite. And book 4, that's gonna come out at the end of next week, is about a side character from Declan's mafia group. His name is Spider. And I'm really excited for his book because what happened to Spider, like, broke my heart. So I'm very excited to read about his AGA. And the other thing I like about this series are the audiobooks of the Queens and Monsters. Because you know how usually when you have an you have an audiobook and you have a female and male narrator, and when it's the girl's part of the chapter, she does the male voice, and when it's the boy's part of the chapter, when it's the girl's chapter, she does the male voice, and when it's the boy's chapter, he does the girl voice. But this audiobook is different because when it's time for the male to speak, the male does the voice, and when it's time for the girl to speak, the girl does the voice. And I really like it because some books like that, like other books, I find that a little bit jarring because sometimes the girl doesn't sound like a guy, and the other time the guy doesn't sound like a girl. But I really love this audiobook because the male narrators and the female narrators do their own parts, and I love that about it. So please, if you're looking for a mafia romance book, please, I highly recommend this series. Because another thing about mafia romance is you don't get the funny part, and this book is really funny, so I suggest you check out JT Geisinger, Queens and Monsters. Until next time, bye.